This is the Stock Trend Reality Podcast, episode 154.
Wow, I've got to make this work because I'm going to need to use this to make a living. And that was not good to have that sort of pressure on myself, I don't think.
This is the Stock Trading Reality Podcast, where you get to see the realistic side of a trader's journey. Get inspired and stay motivated by everyday normal people who are currently on their journey to trading success. And this is your host. Trading before scanner technology? That thought scares him. Clay Trader.
Without question, bless your hearts for anybody that was trading before, I don't know, we'll call it 2000-ish, but trading before scanner technology. For those of you listening, and this is an honest question, how did you actually find what you wanted to trade? Or was it literally you had to use the headlines in the newspapers and then that's where the ideas came from? I just don't understand how you did it back then. I guess I'm a spoiled little brat because I am of the generation where all I've ever known is software, scanning things where you can find what's moving instantaneously and then go be a part of it. So how did you used to do it? Please, if you're watching or if you're listening to this on claytrader.com, the show notes page, in the comment section, let me know, how did you used to find stocks? How did you used to find whatever trading vehicle you did before, scanning technology even existed? Isn't that crazy, Ches? Ches is another spoiled brat like me, but to think that all we know is software that can find you stocks, find you whatever vehicle you want right away. But beforehand, we have a lot to be thankful for, don't we?
Yeah, I was going to say I probably wouldn't have gotten very far in the olden days bartering for cattle and food and stuff like that, like the Oregon Trail or something.
Yeah,
so
you'd have died of dysentery probably. So
yep, absolutely. Or I would have fallen in the river or something like that. But yeah, no, we are absolutely spoiled. And I mean, I'm totally familiar with Yahoo Finance, and that was like groundbreaking when that came out. But prior to that, I'm thinking people were just, check the newspaper and, there's an article about this or an article about that. But yeah, we are absolutely spoiled, Rob.
Yeah, it is crazy. And I mean, even where we sit now, that's how spoiled we are. Yahoo Finance is like kind of a joke. Like, oh yeah, there's Yahoo Finance. But
now it is.
But I mean, even if you consider Yahoo Finance compared to what it was before that, I mean, Yahoo Finance was probably just like the cat's meow.
Golden goose of that era. Yeah.
So which brings up the question, here we are thinking that our current software is like so awesome. I wonder what it's going to be like 10 years from now. Maybe we'll look back on this and just say, I can't believe we thought that software was good. Maybe the trading robots will finally take over for 99 cents. And
Yep, it could be a bunch of AI and they just take over all the banks and stuff like that. And then, we're practically living in Terminator.
Yeah, and all you got to do is pay 99 cents and you just never know. But yeah, I'm well aware I should probably be a little bit more grateful for it than what I am. But yeah, that's we are living in a good time, and there's really no excuses. Like, I can't find a stock. Are you kidding me? There's plenty of ways to find things to trade. As far as our interview today, really, really good one. We talked to Ben. He goes by, we talk about his screen name right at the beginning of the interview, so I won't recap that. But Ben is more so early on in his journey, and there's nothing wrong with that, but he's already learned quite a bit through what he's been through, and he's continuing to learn more. And in some senses, it's like a coaching call. So for those of you that like that vibe where Ches and I are throwing in our opinions and kind of giving some suggestions to where he's at currently, and you kind of like to be a fly in the wall of, of a quote-unquote coaching session, then this should definitely kind of be right up your alley. And be on par with what you're looking for. You'll get that. Ches, that was a good one, wasn't it?
That was pretty good.
So I mean, man, I'm really using everything up this year. I got to slow down, but
2018 is going to be a long one for you.
It is starting off strong, but it's going to go downhill real quick. But anyways, without further ado, let's hear from Ben and see what he's going through and what he has planned for the future. Ben, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Now, I already screwed things up just before we started recording. I tried to get your screen name in the chat room right, but I got it wrong. So let me try this again. It's close, number 2, PGA. Is that right?
Correct.
There you go. So for you community members, close, the number 2, PGA. And you PGA, you started to talk about something about golfing. Are you a big golfer?
I am a very avid golfer.
Now, IT Nate, the show producer, he's pretty big into golfing. So define avid for us real quick. I mean, is this something where it's multiple times a week, a month? But put a definition next to avid. Add a little bit more context.
I probably play at least 100 rounds a year, which is at least once a week, sometimes twice. And I am actually in the golf business, so that's my business. So that's also how avid I am.
Now, I'm raising my hand. You can't see it, but ignorant question here. I'm assuming a round of golf means you go out to play 18 holes.
Correct.
Okay. Because 100 holes, I was doing the math. I'm like, wait a second. I must be defining something wrong because that doesn't seem like...
The math doesn't add up there.
Yeah, the math's not adding up there. But that would make sense. So you're going out 100 times a year to play. Is it always 18 holes?
Usually.
Is there anything like... And like I said, I've golfed before, but I'm kind of like Happy Gilmore guy out there. I'm walking around in my tennis shoes and shorts. It's an abomination.
You bring a hockey stick?
Yeah, I might as well. But is it... let's just set this up real quick, Ben, and you just be brutally honest. Hey, Ben, I'm going to go play a round of golf, 9 holes. What do you look at me? Are you looking at me saying 9 holes? It's either 18 holes or nothing. Or is it cool? Is it okay to do 9 holes?
It's okay to do 9. Personally, I'm an 18 or nothing, but it's okay to do 9. Usually I'll do 9 holes after I've already played the first 18.
Okay, so like that's your cool down or something?
Exactly.
Okay, you are avid for sure. In fact, you make IT Nate look like a non-golfer with all this. Ches, do you ever golf?
When I was younger. Ben, where do you live? Do you live somewhere warm year-round or no?
Unfortunately, no. I live a little south of Seattle, so it's kind of a lot of work to play golf year-round here.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I want to compliment you on, getting out almost 2 times a week sometimes, especially when the weather isn't, you're not down in Florida or anything like that where you can just go hit a ball anytime you wanted.
Well, I can actually hit a golf ball anytime I want because I own a driving range, so that's my business.
Well, even there you go, even better.
Really? And that sounds like a good spot for a meetup. So maybe next one will be, how far are you from Seattle?
About an hour south of Seattle.
Okay, all right.
I offer to let Clay sleep in my shed in Colorado, and then, we got Ben over here who's got his own driving range, and that's what it's going to take to get Clay across the Mississippi. I guess whatever works.
There
Hey,
you go.
Yep. I honestly think maybe this will be a fun fact sometime. In fact, I think I'll try to remember it, but I don't think there's anything more relaxing and more enjoyable than just going to a driving range. And if you slice it, if you hook it, who cares? Just get out there and swing. And
exactly.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Ches. The driving range sounds a little bit better than your shed up in the mountains. Well, I'll probably be eaten by a grizzly bear. So I mean, it's. But anyways, we are going way off. We got to start a podcast, Ches, where we just talk to people about just anything because I feel like we could keep talking. I'm intrigued right now, knowing that you own a driving range. That's pretty cool. But back on topic, as far as the markets, where did all this start for you? Where did you first hear about the markets? And what kind of all transpired in order to get you to want to learn more, to want to, get a little bit more hands-on with it?
Okay. Well, I have not really had much experience in the market. I've got a Scottrade account and I've got a couple $1,000s in there. So I have bought and sold a stock or two on occasion, but certainly nothing with avid trading or investing or anything like that. So really how it started for me was I thought I was going to need a new job through no fault of my own, really. The land that I have my business on, I lease it, and it's a long-term lease, but without getting into the gory details, it looked to me like I was going to be forced out of my lease agreement, and so therefore no more business. So I'm saying, what can I do for a living is basically how it started. And being a business owner, probably some business owners might relate to this. I knew that I was going to have a hard time going to get a regular job, like going to work for somebody. Now, if worse came to worse, I'd do what I have to do. But in my heart, I'm knowing, hey, I've worked for myself for the past 17 years. It is going to be very difficult for me to go get a job, work for somebody else. So I'm kind of trying to rack my brain. I had a couple of years before this would happen, before my current lease period was going to run out. So I said, I've got a couple of years to figure this out. So I'm trying to think, what can I do? Trying to figure out something that I would enjoy. Kind of came on day trading sort of by accident. I think I'd been familiar with the term, although I had really no idea what it was. But cruising around on YouTube or something like that, I think I ran across videos and I started to kind of watch videos. And I'm saying, wow, this is interesting. The first thought that I had was, and business owners will get this joke. If you're not a business owner, you may not. But I always tell my friends, hey, I love owning a business. It's great owning a business. The only thing that would make it perfect is if there were no employees and no customers. And, that's funny. What a joke. How do you have a business with no customers? But when I started thinking about day trading, wow.
I just got to cut you off real quick. Working with Ches and IT Nate every day, I totally understand the whole no employee. I get it, man. I get it.
And having Clay as my boss, oh boy, I get it too.
It's holy smokes. But
you can feel the pain.
That is a good saying. Not true, though, for us. I actually enjoy who I work with, which makes it feel like it's not even work, but that's a whole nother conversation. So sorry to cut you off, but that's well played on your part as a business owner.
Yeah, I figured you might relate. So I started to watch some videos, and this fit into perfectly what I said. Hey, this is very interesting. I'm going to be honest, my business takes up a ton of my time. And after 17 years, I am looking for a little more freedom. And this seemed like, wow, if nothing else, maybe it can supplement some income, give me a little more freedom. If it ever worked into a full-time scenario, maybe I can sell my business or something of that nature. And actually at the time, again, what I was thinking was I might be out of a job. So I thought this maybe is a way to replace it. So when I first did this was just a little over a year ago. It was in December of 16. And so I started looking on YouTube, knew right away that if I was going to do this, I had to get educated. I did understand that. I'm old enough to kind of be over the thing like, I'll just figure it out myself. No, I got to get educated.
It's nice to hear. It's refreshing to hear.
Yeah. So I said, I started right away. I could tell that the get rich quick people, I wasn't interested in that. I don't even think I watched those videos more than, a couple minutes when they were telling
you. How could you tell? Because in Ches and I's experience, a lot of people apparently need to be told when it's get quick rich marketing, late night infomercial marketing, because I guess some people don't realize it. So how could you tell? I mean, you clearly had the instincts for it, but
I think that owning a business tells you that, hey, there is no get rich quick. It's just a few years of life experience says there is no way to really get rich quick.
Are you telling me that with 9 minutes a day, I can't make $69,000 a month? 9 minutes a day can't does. Oh, okay, all right. Well, at least Ben understands that. But that's good. So obviously, a nice thing about your instincts and kind of like you said, kind of looping back, being a business owner, you understand that nothing comes for free and nothing is just that easy. So that's good because that probably kept you out of all of the nonsense, or at least most of the nonsense that's out there. So. I guess how did you find Clay relatively fast when you were kind of looking on YouTube, or how did you actually run into, Clay in the community at all?
Well, I saw him on YouTube, and to tell you the truth, and this is not to put you down or anything, I did remember thinking at first, wait a second, this guy is selling information and education on trading, and his name is Clay Trader. That is a little too convenient for me. That was, honestly, I have to say, that was my first impression. And I just kind of thought that was funny. So I watched some of the videos, but I did start with a different group and bought their education. You probably are familiar with them.
Does it start with a W and have a time? Oh, my God. Clay?
Who was it? I didn't. Was it the W?
It was the W.
Oh, goodness. Do you know the story about Clay Trader, though, Ben?
I don't think so, no.
Okay, so just so you know that it wasn't convenient, I'm totally plagiarizing somebody else's nickname, but in a nutshell, when I worked for Honeywell, all the guys in my department, in the engineering department, they'd always see me looking at stocks and doing this, that, and the other. And the one guy, he was just like, hey, I'd walk into a meeting, hey, it's Clay Trader. Instead of day trader, it's just a play on words. I take no credit for it, but I was like, hey, Don was the guy's name. Don, that's actually not too bad. So I just it stuck around the office, around some of the guys. Hey, clay trader, and that's where it came from. So no, that was not just convenient. That was actually a nickname given to me back when I was working for a company. So, but just an FYI for you, and I guess for listeners. So, I can't even say that I came up for the name on myself. Hopefully, Don doesn't sue me for like royalties and stuff. But Don, if you happen to be listening, I'll take you out to lunch sometime.
Just got an email from his lawyer. I'll forward it to you.
Yep. All right. Well, today is the last day of the site closing down, and but all right. So W. Did you do the whole package where you only have access to it for 90 days and all that nonsense?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And I guess I don't know. I'm not going to tell you what to talk about. You just kind of, if you want to touch on it more, maybe you loved it. I don't know. But from all the past guests we've had that's gone through this, it seems as though this whole time limit thing can really be a burden. Did you have that same experience?
It got to be a burden. In all fairness, I don't think that they were trying to sell you something I think their information is genuine, and they are genuinely trying to get you to be a good trader. However, you're right. I'm kind of stumbled on my words. I don't think that they were doing anything that you might have to edit this part because I'm trying to get my thoughts.
No, we're not. No, it's fine. Go for it, man. Just go for it.
I think they're a legitimate group in the sense that they believe what they teach and they're good at it. Now, what I found is that I didn't feel I was good at their main method, which is kind of a momentum scenario. But I did hang in there for a while, and I paid the extra money a couple of times, and then I said, wow, this is starting to get a little expensive to keep paying for this education. And also, I wasn't gaining any success with it. So not real quickly, but in the meantime, I was kind of, again, watching more YouTube, actually starting to watch quite a bit of yours. And there was another person out there that was selling I don't want to call it a system, but his education. And he was coming up with these specific numbers of where prices and numbers where you can expect a change in reaction, whether it's short or long. And I thought, wow, that's interesting. Because part of the trouble I was having was just this momentum is kind of just jumping in and riding the momentum. And I was really having a problem with that. So I thought, let's try this next education. So I bought another bit of education. And,
was that the guy that was talking all about the numbers?
I think so.
Did he happen to have an M anywhere in his name?
No.
There's no M as in moo? Nothing.
Well, that's the name of his. The beginning of his is an M at the beginning of it.
Okay, so
I think
Mojo. Mojo?
No, not Mojo.
Oh, all right.
Anyway,
who is it? You can name it. I want to hear it now, even if we edit it out.
It's his name is David Frost, and he has Lazy Gap Trader is the start of it.
Never heard of that one.
I've never heard of that one. And I just want to circle back because I have to politely disagree with you. That's fine. People can agree to disagree. That's part of life. And it keeps the show interesting. But you made the comment about the whole W person. You genuinely believe he's trying to get people to become better traders. I don't think so. If he was genuinely trying to help people, he would not say, hey, you only have access to my information for the next 90 days. After that, see ya. Oh, you want it again? Here, pay more. That doesn't seem very like somebody that in their heart of hearts wants to help somebody. That seems like, and as a business owner from one to another, I don't disrespect his hustle. Like, all right, he's making good. I mean, he's generating some revenue for the business by doing that, but I don't know. It doesn't seem like the motivation is actually there to want to help people when you are limiting them to the knowledge that you are supposedly providing. And then also to piggyback off of that, just another classic example of why there's no one-size-fits-all strategy. You can't, anybody that's saying, hey, follow me and follow what I do, this, that, and the other, that could work. It could work, to be fair, but we always use the analogy. That's the same as me saying, hey, I have a course on how to have fun. You want to have fun? You want to do it my way? We're going skydiving. For some people, all right, yeah, that sounds great. For other people, I'd rather, curl up next to the fire and read a book. That is my definition of fun. It's all personal risk tolerance. So just in general, be very, very leery about anybody that's proclaiming some system, because a system is only as good as the person and their personal risk tolerance behind it. So just keep that in mind. Sorry to go off on my little rant, but you signed up for this, so we'll catch you back up. You signed up for this second lazy gapper, whatever the guy's name was.
Yep.
Lazy gap trader. And how did that one go for you?
Well, again, it was based all on Fibonacci. And the main thing that I saw right away that I was having trouble with is if you take his course, he explains to you exactly how to calculate the levels and calculate the numbers. But also part of what he did is, and again, it's a monthly service, that he emails you every morning with his picks and his levels of where trades should maybe be made. And that's nice and all, but I immediately knew right away that that was not a great scenario, because if I want to become an independent trader and do this on my own, I cannot be have somebody waiting for somebody's email every morning. That's a recipe for disaster, because you need to be able to do it yourself. So I knew that it was not kind of the right thing for me, even though he teaches you how to calculate the numbers, and I tried to do that and understood what was going on, but I would never really come up with the same numbers. So it's like, oh, okay, this is tough. So again, not having great success with that. So now I'm going like, okay, what do I do now? Do I go to another, get some more training? The thing that I thought, and this applies to my own business, is that I get golfers coming in all the time saying, hey, I want to get some golf lessons. And I'm like, okay, great. And they say, I took a lesson from so-and-so, and he couldn't help me. And I went to another guy, and he couldn't help me. And I went to another guy, and he couldn't help me. And so in my mind, I don't say this to the customer, but in my mind, I'm going, hey, look, buddy, it's probably not the golf pro that's the problem here. It might be you.
Right. Yeah,
so,
good analogy.
Exactly. So that's what I'm thinking about me. I go, oh, I started with these guys. I take their lessons. Doesn't work. I go to another guy, taking their lessons. It's not working. And so I'm going like, now I'm going to take somebody else. I'm going like, hey, maybe you need to be thinking it's not the lessons. Maybe it's me. So I'm still struggling because I've not had any success on any of them. But I said, okay, again, I'm watching more and more of your videos on YouTube, and I'm saying, okay, I'm going to give it one more shot. So that's how I came to you, which was, again, the beginning of December. And that's kind of basically where we're up to date.
December 2017?
Correct. Now, okay. I should tell you that in the meantime, one of the things I talked about, where I thought I was going to be out of a business. In the meantime, I got some lawyerly advice, and it finds out that I'm actually in good shape. So the pressure is off a little bit, because I had really put in my head that I need to get another way to make a living up and running in a relatively short time. So for about 6 months into this, I've got to make this work, because I'm going to need to use this to make a living. And that was not good to have that sort of pressure on myself, I don't think. But in the meantime...
Sorry, go ahead.
In the meantime, I found out that, no, I'm in a little bit better position than I thought. Excuse me. And I am not going to need to worry about being out of a job. But what I have learned is that I'm in love with the idea of trading. I love the idea of being able to work on my own, work shorter hours. And so that's kind of where I'm at now.
Gotcha. And I think, I want Clay to weigh in on this as well. This kind of almost ties back to when we tell people the best thing they can do for their trading, especially when they're newer, is have at least a part-time job, or not to quit their full-time job, because of the security it kind of provides in the background, so that you can make some mistakes and get through the learning process. But yeah, that kind of pressure on Ben, I mean, that's in my opinion, it makes perfect sense to me why you might have struggled kind of absorbing stuff, because you almost had like this time limit per se, where you think you're going to be out, your income stream is just going to go to zero. So you need to figure out something kind of quickly. So yeah, that pressure is never good. At least it was never good for me, especially when I was trying to learn anything like that. But Clay, any thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, that's where we always talk about the best when you're getting started, heck, when you're still trading, the best ticker symbol to trade is JOB. I mean, because when you're trading JOB, you're guaranteed a paycheck, and knowing that it's a guaranteed source of income, that's that's going to put your mind at ease. It's going to not guarantee that you have any success as a trader, but it's going to eliminate a lot of the voices out there that can exist. And that's what I kind of wanted to ask you, Ben. Did you meet some of those voices when you were still under the impression that this lease thing was going to, kind of kick you out? Or did those voices introduce themselves to you?
Oh yeah. It's been a struggle. It's still a struggle. Like I say, I have not had any success, and it's been a struggle. And I think a lot of my struggle is mental. I think a lot of my problems are not following the rules that, I don't know if you want to call them rules, but not following the proper strategies, not respecting my stops. I mean, I'm doing all the classic things wrong. I think I'm slowly but surely overcoming those things, but falling into those traps completely.
Now let me ask you this. You say you are, you're not following the rules, you're not following the stops, you're not, all that. Is this what you've learned from these other people's strategies? Is that what you're talking about? Or are you talking about current strategies that you're trying to form for yourself right now? And I ask that because I know that you're still relatively new to Clay Trading University, so you haven't gone through all the courses or anything. So what exactly are you having trouble following?
Well,
past strategies that you've learned?
The past strategies, yes. And basically, the biggest thing, and I think I've cut this out, though. I've said, hey, if this is going to work, you've got to do this. I simply just did not follow stops. I'd get in a trade, and if it would start going bad on me, I would sit there and say, hey, no, it's going to turn around. It's going to turn around. And I would get into some big losses. For me, I've never really traded with big, giant size. But when you only have a $2,000 account and you lose $300-$400 at a time, that's a pretty significant amount.
And it is. And I'm not going to cut you any excuses because, yeah, you're right. If you're not following a stop loss, then bad things are going to happen. But may I give you some constructive criticism? May I chime in, give you my 2 cents here?
Please.
I would just say abandon the ship on those past strategies you've learned, because my guess is it's just they're not fitting your personality type, your situation. There's just something off. I mean, if these strategies were truly for you, they would be working. They would be working just fine, and it would be a true plug-and-play situation. But apparently they're not working, and that's not a shock or anything. That's, once again, why, to circle back to that the concept that people are implying they have a one-size-fits-all strategy. It just doesn't work because there's just little things. What are those little things? Well, that's going to be different for everybody. But I think what you should be focused on now is just learning the tools, going through the courses, and when you have a full summary of all the tools available and how the tools work, then at that point you can come back and start to focus on, all right, how can I build a strategy that's going to fit me? That's not only going to fit me from a personal risk tolerance perspective, but also as a business owner, as somebody that's got X, Y, and Z happening, in my life. And then you take the tools that you're going to learn in the courses, and you're going to be able to start to construct those sorts of things. Whereas right now, if you're just trying to follow some other strategy that's probably not really built for you, I think do you get what I'm saying, Chez? Would you agree with kind of the path here that I'm trying to get at?
No, absolutely, because you want him to just understand all the tools available and then kind of construct the strategy and, moving forward versus being pigeonholed into one or another.
Right. So let me ask this, Penn. Are there some golf clubs where there's some subjectivity where, okay, you say to use the 9-iron here, but I think you should be using the 7 or the 8. Does that exist in golf? I'm not quite sure. Is there gray area when it comes to club selection?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay, so what could be going on here, and what it sounds like is going on, is these past strategies are like the 9-iron and saying, in this situation, you got to use the 9-iron. It's the right thing to use because I use it successfully, so therefore, then use the 9-iron. But maybe for you, it's actually the 7-iron that would work best. But when you're trying to continue to use the 9, but when you learn how to use all the irons, everything in the bag, then you're going to be able to figure out what exactly is going to work best for you. Yeah, that takes practice. That's probably why you're out at 100 rounds per year. You're figuring out what clubs work best for all different situations. But if you're always just trying to do a 9-iron because some guy said he has success on the 9-iron, therefore you have to use a 9-iron, but that doesn't mean it's going to work for you. Does that make sense, Ben, or am I just totally confusing you?
No, that's pretty good. And by the way, for a non-golfer, that was a pretty great analogy to fit into golf. Very well done.
I want to commend him on that too. I was going to say, Clay, look at you talking about different club selection and stuff like that.
This is not good though. Usually I have one good one of those a year, and it's as of the recording, it's January 11th of 18. So I am bone dry. Wow. I'm bone dry for the next 11 and a half months. But so that would be what my constructive criticism. And I love this story about you, Ben. That's still fresh in my mind. Ben emailed me, I don't know, a week and a half ago, this big old email asking all sorts of just good, solid questions. I mean, like really good, like, holy smokes, this guy, he's thinking ahead. He's thinking, but then he goes, and weren't you just through robotic trading at the time of that?
Yes.
Ben, do you remember the email you sent me?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So he's like, and I'm just through robotic trading, which for context sake for listeners, that is like the first piece of the pie as part of Clay Trader University. It's just giving you the foundation. So he is just getting started, but then he's asked me all these other questions, and I had to just reply back, listen, man, calm down. That's great. I love the ambition here, but just take it one course at a time, heck, one video at a time, and all those other questions and all those other wonders that you have, they're going to be answered. They're going to be, all the pieces will come together in a structured way for you, but holy smoke. So I will attest for Ben, you are not lacking in ambition. So that's also kind of why I'm saying I get it. You paid money for that stuff. I get it. You want to get your money's worth. But I don't know. It just really seems like somebody's trying to force a 9-iron on you when maybe the 7 might be the best club selection for you. So I'd say get through Clay Trader University, learn how to learn what all the clubs do, and then you're going to be able to start to put together better strategies. Is that something you think you could get on board with?
Well, that's actually what I am doing. I have, I'm not using the Fibonacci system that this guy has done. I'm not looking at that. Actually, about right after I started with the CTU, from way back in the day, I still had a scanner that scanned for these momentum stocks. And I noticed that it would pop up a stock, and I would look at it, and I might just jump into it doing the old ways. And I'm like, wow, I keep doing this. I know I'm not supposed to do this, and I keep doing it. How can I stop this? Well, hello, just get rid of the scanner, which I did. And lo and behold, now I don't jump into these momentum stocks. So I believe I am doing that. And this part is sort of not on my own, but I went back to paper trading. And the reason I say it's not on my own is because I just have no money left in my account to trade with. And being in the golf business, it is seasonal. The weather doesn't get as bad as it gets back east, but it's still seasonal. So from 18 years in business, I've learned to tighten the belt in the wintertime. So right now I'm not feeling comfortable putting any more money into my trading account. So I have not gotten rid, but I quit using the old methods, and I'm just paper trading at the moment. I think I'll do that for another couple of months until business gets better. And again, just try to go on what I'm learning now in CTU. So I think that is my current plan, and that's sort of what I'm trying to enact.
And that's great. And so I also want people to understand here, this is another great example of somebody who is going to learn how to do this, still not only works a full-time job, owns the business and has to work there, all the time, seasonal or not. So I guess, what is your method, and when when are you able to find time to study? Do you find that in the evenings, the mornings? How do you kind of pull that off?
I usually do it in the evenings. I get up, I'm West Coast, which is another great thing that I love about trading, is that I don't mind getting up early. So And it's beautiful because I can trade before I open up my business. And so I trade in the morning, or watch the stocks now and paper trade now, and then work the day. And in the evening, I usually try to hit at least one video. I do also try, like last Tuesday, I tried to go listen to the Tuesday night scenario.
The webinars?
Right. Yeah. Thank you. And I just find it difficult. I can't follow along because I'm listening to it, and then a customer comes in, so I have to kind of turn it off and then help the customer come back to it. It's really disconjointed.
That would be extremely difficult if I put. Yeah. I can barely follow along, and I'm the one conducting it with the mask. No, I'm just kidding. They're structured, but I can see how that would become very unstructured for you from your perspective if 1 second we're talking about one thing, and all of a sudden, all right, now where are you at? So I can see that. Do you ever go back and watch the recordings in the archive?
I do. I have been doing that. And those, actually, I was going to say, those are some very, that's very good stuff. I do like when you go over a trade or go over a trade plan. It's like kind of like a trade in slow motion. And that's actually a pretty cool thing. And I like that. I enjoy that. I think that's very insightful. So those are valuable things.
All right, good. I appreciate that feedback. Sometimes I feel bad. It's like, oh no, we're going to do another trade plan, I hope. But I never thought about that, but yeah, it is kind of like a trade, but in slow motion, where everybody can kind of take a second to breathe and
that's
put
what
together
I love about it.
Interesting. All right. Well,
totally. Yeah, that's kind of the first thing that struck me is like, wow, this is like it's like a trade, but we can stop and.
But it takes 40 minutes to get one candle to scroll, but that's okay.
You know what? The next time you and that club, led by Ches himself, I can't wait to shove Ben in your face and be like, hey, remember when Ben said he likes the slow motion trade? So,
or the next trade, you'll be like, all right, here we're setting up a trade. Okay, I'm scrolling the chart. Look at that. None of you had time to plan anything. Good job.
I should do that and then those same people that complain about take forever, I'd be like, wait, that was too fast. I mean, that's why I love the quote. The best way to please everybody, or the best way to please nobody, is to try to please everybody. I'm sticking to it. So Ben, I guess it sounds like you're just, actually I wanted to ask this real quick because I may have some more just thoughts, which you can take or leave, but where are you at within the courses right now?
Well, I went through the robotic trading one time, and I'm actually going through it a second time. I wanted to do that to really see if I could hopefully absorb it and really get it down. And it was actually a good thing. The second time through, I'm kind of taking some more detailed notes. And I'm glad I did that because I'm finding that, I missed that little tidbit there, or I missed that little thing there. So my plan is to go through it at least twice and then move on in the fashion that you suggest. I can't remember what, I think the next one is robotic
skill sharpening.
There you go. And do that one next and continue on with the way you suggest to take the courses.
So here's I'll throw it out there and you can do whatever you want with it, but you mentioned or let me make sure I understand. It sounds like are you paper trading currently every morning before you open up your work?
Yes. Okay,
so on that note, I would just issue some caution because, as a golfer, if you tell your buddies, or if I tell you, I walk in and I say, oh, you know what, man, this golf, I think golf's a scam, Ben. Golf is a scam. I've been practicing 8 hours a day. 8 hours a day I've been practicing, Ben, and I can't hit the ball straight at all. And then all of a sudden I pull out a tennis racket and say, it just doesn't work. You're going to be thinking, well, yeah, you were practicing, but you weren't practicing the right thing. You first got to learn what to practice, Clay, if you're ever going to have any sort of idea of how to do a golf swing properly. And that's what you might be at risk of right now, is when you don't know what to practice, I don't know what you're doing. To be fair to you, maybe everything you're practicing is totally fine. You are at zero risk of bad habits and little things like that. But even you admitted the second time through robotic trading, you had missed a bunch of things. So I would just offer some caution that you may be missing a bunch of little small things, which you probably are because you haven't gone through all the courses yet. But I would say if you could get through robotic trading, skill sharpening, and then RVR trading, at that point, you really are going to know what to practice because remember, practice does not make perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect. Ches, would you agree with that kind of cautionary warning I'm throwing out there?
Yeah, absolutely. And we, it's not even just the warning we give to Ben. That's the warning we give to just about anybody who's kind of entered the program. That's the true way to kind of have, in my opinion, all the tools on your belt ready to go. And you're now really armed to kind of take it into the market in sense of you have everything you need to kind of form a good, solid trade plan. I agree.
And practice forming a good, solid trade plan. Whereas, so Ben, I just want to make sure that you're not practicing your golf swing with a tennis racket because that's, sure, you're practicing, but you're a smart guy. You get the analogy. So I would just say maybe consider that. I realize that it is fun to get out there and paper trade. It's fun to watch things unfold, but I just don't want to I don't want you to be emailing me 6 months from now with all these little bad habits that you're trying to break. But so just like I said, just my observation looking in. The one question though I did want to ask you that we always like this because it's such a fascinating topic is losses. Where do you think what is kind of going on in your head other than it'll come back? But what's up with what would you kind of attribute to your struggle with honoring those stop losses? Is it just because you're a super competitive person, or if you had to kind of put your thumb on something, what do you think that might be?
I think I would say it's a little bit of kind of revenge trading or something of that nature, where I've taken a couple trades, didn't go great. Now I'm in maybe a third trade. It's not going good, and I kind of get stubborn and say, "Hey, I'm seeing this thing to the end, and I don't care until I'm down $250, and I'm saying, whoa, what are you doing? You've got to get out of this thing and stop." And I think I also have succumbed to trades where you're in a trade, you say, okay, I've reached my limit, I stop out, and then you watch the trade, and sure enough, 10 cents later, it turns around and makes the move that you were wanting it to make. And you go, oh gosh, if I just would have held on just 10 more cents, it would have worked out for me. So I think I've succumbed to both of those type of things. And I just am saying, can't do it. You've got to, pick your stop, and you've got to adhere to it.
Yep, you absolutely do. And I assure you, I got to keep reminding myself that you are relatively new to the market. And I assure you, with more time, more practice, perfect practice as well, and just more screen time in general, it will get easier. I promise it gets easier. I'm not going to say it's always the easiest, because it's not, but it just becomes part of your plan, and you start trusting the plan, and you'll have no problem kind of taking your lumps. And I say this every podcast. I take losses every day. They're annoying, but I take them because I'll never have an event that, really screws me up, and I always can come back the next day fresh. But Ben, it's been an absolute pleasure speaking with you today. I do want to ask, what do you think are some strengths, some good strengths that you kind of carry with you now that you're going to apply in the market?
Well, I'm hoping perseverance is about all I can give you. And because that's about all I have at the moment, is to persevere, to continue to study, and I think my willingness to continue to learn and to follow through on what I'm learning with CTU, and I'm hoping that's going to change things around for me. And so perseverance is my main thing, and trying to work hard on that, and work hard on all the other aspects of discipline and focus and patience and those type of things.
Very nice. I like that. Perseverance. That's for sure required. And I guess what because like you said, the idea of trading, you love this, you like the sound of it, but what really has kind of captured your attention as far as trading? It's clearly just not for the money. It's clearly not because, I have to, do this for the money because my lease is going to expire. I would say, from observing, just listening to you talk, that you do have a true passion for it too, outside of just the money, right? You enjoy the challenge of it. Is that a fair observation on my part?
I do enjoy the challenge of it, and it's that's one big thing. But it is a little bit big picture is my ultimate goal, is to be able to do this and generate an income and be able to have a little more freedom. And so it's not the money per se, but we all know that usually, if you want freedom, it's going to entail making more money, because that's what I see it. Not just money, but the freedom that the earning money gives you, and the lifestyle, not boats and cars and that type of thing, but the lifestyle of being able to have freedom during the day. I work a lot, and I really value freedom. And I'm getting a little older, so I'm starting to go, wow, do I want to be doing this for 10 hours a day every day for another 30 years?
Right. Yeah. And that's, and you explain that very well, because at the end of the day, it's not like we're all here because, we just like to do it. No, we like to do it because the challenge, the byproduct of the challenge is money itself. And then the byproduct of the byproduct in your situation is money does allow for the freedom and for you to, have a nice life. And again, I love how you define not nice life as my fancy car and my yacht and my fancy vacations, but hey, just the freedom that this can afford you. So that's good stuff for sure. As far as things that you want to work on, that you recognize you need to work on, and sorry, you can't say honoring your stop loss. You already said that, but is there anything else that you're aware of, that you're noticing, that you kind of want to keep an eye on and make sure that you continue to work at it, so it doesn't pop up again later on and start to cost you money?
I think it's patience, because I want to trade. When the market comes up and I pull up all my screens, I'm kind of almost like, I feel like I'm just chomping at the bit, going like, oh, I want to get into that. I want to get into that. I want to buy here. And that's just, again, I recognize that's not good. You need to be patient, wait for the proper time to enter a trade, wait for the proper setup, whatever you want to call it. And I do have trouble with impatience and wanting to just jump in and get going and make a trade.
And that's totally human nature. That is, but I mean, just to offer up the friendly reminder, I mean, your lease situation has changed. So you have all the time in the world that you need, right?
I do.
So
hopefully. I'm getting older, so hopefully there's a lot of time left. But
still, don't let the older voices show up and be like, hey, you're getting older, therefore just do this. And if this is something really stupid, because I'm telling you, the voices, they'll grasp onto anything. And they will gladly grasp onto, Ben, you're getting older, man. I mean, you can barely swing that golf club anymore. I mean, come on, Ben, you better I'm telling you, just be careful. Ches, would you agree the voices will grasp onto anything in order to get you to do something stupid?
Oh, yeah. There's a bunch of times where the voices have told me to do some dumb things, and I always go, okay, I need to sleep on it. And then I wake up the next morning, and I'm like, wow, I really almost did something real dumb there. I'm glad I took a little step back and, reassessed. Yeah,
it's amazing how they literally will grasp anything, and then you do it, then you'll be like, wait a second. The rationale that I used wasn't really totally foolproof. I probably should have thought that one through. But I do totally get where you're coming from, Ben. But just remember, you do technically have plenty of time. And, I mean, you're not like... Sure, maybe you're not in your 20s, but, I mean, it's not like you're in your 70s, are you?
No, I'm 49, so...
Well, there you go. You got tons of life to live. Isn't 49 the new 19? I think I heard that. 49 is
the new 29, but 19, sure. Whatever you want to go with, Clay.
It's 19 now. I don't care. It's 49 is the new 19.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Although, go ahead.
I do have to say that kind of getting to this age, it does start to cross your mind that, okay, I think we're to the point where there's less in front than there is behind. And I think that's kind of, that's sort of something you think about at this age, at least for me. I'm like, okay,
I can't comment on that, but I'll just say that, but that's still, you just don't let the voices grab onto that concept and then all of a sudden make you do bad things with it. That's just my warning. And I that comes from a lot of experience, stupid things based on the voices that you get what I'm saying. So, I mean, just be careful with it. But Ches, why don't you take the time machine, because it is technically your time machine.
I could do that. So, Ben, if I was to lend you my time machine, you could go back to any period you would like and give yourself one piece of advice, not a buy or a sell recommendation. What would that piece of advice be?
Well, I'd like to say I'd go back and maybe join CTU right from the beginning or something of that nature. But I'm kind of going to go with, I think you have to go through a process, and it's a learning process. And yes, it'd be great if I started it in a different way, but I'm not going to change much. I'm going to say I'm taking this path, and it's taught me a lot. It's taught me what not to do. So I'm going to go with, I'm not really going to go back and change much as much pain as it's been, and I'd like to avoid some of that pain. I'm going to just stick with what I've got.
I was very curious how you're going to answer that, because from where I sat, yeah, sure, it would have been great if you would have been with us from the beginning, but you were always under the mindset like, no, this is not a business where I'm going to try to figure it out on my own. I want to invest into education, because a lot of guests, that's their answer is, I wish I would have just invested in education. So you did that from the beginning, and like Ches said earlier, taking your lumps, that's just kind of part of this journey regardless. So yeah, I'm going to go along your answer, because I fully get it, and you're one of the unique people where you've kind of done things right from the get-go. Yeah, of course, there's still things to work on, but that was good, Ches, right? I mean, he's pretty much started off doing things the right way.
No, absolutely. And I'm always a firm believer of you get where you're going when you're supposed to be there. So yeah, he's here now, and that's what, counts. He's got that good news on the lease, so he's got time to really kind of take his time and, go through the stuff methodically. And yeah, no, it sounds like that was a great answer to me.
Yeah, for sure. All right, well, let's move into some fun questions. And I'm going to throw out some guesses here. I'm guessing no, that'd be too obvious. But what is your favorite movie?
Well, I have to skip down to number 2 because number 1 is the same as yours. Oh, boy. And so number 2
is number 1's Dumb and Dumber?
Yeah, that's it. No, Braveheart, number 1.
Okay, because it's kind of a duel. It's comedy number 1, and then that, yeah. Okay.
Gotcha. Oh,
so we're best friends now. Braveheart, good.
So I'm going to move to my number 2, which is The Shawshank Redemption.
You get busy dying, or you get busy, or what's that quote? Got to get busy dying, or get busy living, something like that. But
pretty close.
That's a classic movie too. I was gonna guess Happy Gilmore or Caddyshack or something, but I was like, no, that'd be too obvious. Are you a fan of those? Have you seen those ones? Are you a fan?
Oh, absolutely. Caddyshack is the best.
Yeah, that's kind of a classic. All right, Ches, you're up, sir.
Ben, what is your favorite meal and dessert?
Well, my favorite meal, I actually kind of I have a ritual every Sunday night because usually the weekends are my busy time. And so after a long, hard weekend, Sunday evening, I go just down the street to a little restaurant, kind of a sports bar, sit at the bar, have my same burger and 2 beers. That's my Sunday night ritual. So I do like hamburgers, so that's probably my favorite meal is my little burger and 2 beers on Sunday night.
What's the name of the place?
It's called The Ram.
The Ram, there you go. Shout out to The Ram. Maybe we'll after we go to the driving range for the meetup, we can all go to The Ram.
Absolutely.
That sounds like a pretty nice little spot there. What do you like to do outside of the market? And no, you cannot say golf. But outside of trading and golf, what do you like to do hobby-wise?
Boy, that's a tough one because there isn't much else. To tell you the truth, it is pretty much the golf. Let me come up with something. Yeah, I'm gonna have a tough time on that one. I do like to do a little.
Clay, you really threw him in a corner on that one. That was rough.
Yeah, fine, that was pretty savage on my end. I mean, we pretty much started off with that. Your hobby is very clearly golf. If you're doing 100
what'd you expect him to say, like quilting or something?
In retrospect, that was a savage question because what was I expecting? I don't know. Hey, buddy, you can't talk trading. You can't do golf. I mean, what else? But. Yeah, so golf, is that, or did you come up with something else?
I didn't come up with anything else because I literally don't do anything else.
And
I loves golf.
Yeah, it's golf. I get it. I mean, your name in the chat room has to do with golf. So, I mean,
yep.
I get it.
Yeah, that was pretty savage of you, Clay. But anyways, I'll help you out here, Ben. So okay. If you had to pick 3 words that you would kind of, say should be related to successful trading, what would those 3 words be?
Well, I threw them out there already, but I'm going to go with the same one.
You can't say perseverance. You can't say discipline. And you can't say no, I'm just kidding.
Oh,
I couldn't resist now.
Boy. Because I wrote these down because I knew this one was coming. So, but it's...
All right, let me try to guess then. I want to try to guess based off of this interview. Perseverance, patience, and discipline. Is that what you wrote down?
Skip, the perseverance I actually came up with during the interview. So that was new. Focus. You got discipline and patience, and I'm going to go with focus.
Nice.
Focus is good.
Yeah, those are all definitely 3 good words. So, wow, we could keep on talking, but this is, I enjoyed this, talking with somebody that's still early on in their learning, and we will certainly, assuming you'd be willing to come back, but we'll have you back at another time and kind of see where all this has led, from this point forward. But would you come back?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Was this a pretty, I don't know if fun's the right word, but was this a halfway decent... did you enjoy yourself?
Oh, most certainly, most definitely. And I got some information, that's what I was hoping was going to happen. I was honestly, I was prepared for a little pain, and it was not too painful. There was some good love, some things said out of love and caring, and so that was good. And but it was also fun. It was enjoyable talking to you guys and getting to know you. That's the thing. See, I feel like I know you and Ches to a certain degree because I'm sitting there listening to all these things and hearing you talk, and sometimes it's hard to remember that, hey, you don't know me at all, and so it's kind of fun to get some interaction.
Have you been in any webinars yet where you've been blessed by my voice of an angel?
No, because even though I know I'm anonymous, not so much maybe anymore, but even though it is, I don't feel like I ask or that I feel comfortable asking questions or things like that. I sometimes don't feel like I'm asking intelligent enough questions. So, and I'll admit, nobody likes to get called out. I realize it's not out of being hard on you. It's just trying to make you a better trader. But no, I kind of stay quiet and listen and try to absorb more.
So you haven't heard me sing, though, on the webinar?
Let's see if I heard you sing. Oh, I did hear an "O Canada," and that was...
Yeah, there you go.
That's what I mean.
You've
That's
heard
what I
it
meant by
all,
voice of an angel. Have you?
That voice of an angel. Okay.
I mean,
yes,
it's worth signing up for. Just that
songbird of your generation, isn't that what it is?
I am. Ben, has anybody ever? I don't know if you know this, Ben, but some have called me the songbird of my generation. So I mean,
oh boy.
But yeah. So all right. Well, you'll hear it more and more on the pot or on the webinars. But well, good. And I asked you if you had a good time because that's kind of just my little plug to you community members out there listening. This show is only as good as you and you volunteering to be here. Ben actually volunteered, to which thank you, Ben. I appreciate that. And yeah, there's nothing to be nervous about. Ches and I were just a couple of goofballs. And yeah, I mean, so if you're willing to be on the show and you're a member, then by all means, please get a hold of us. We would love to have you. And Ben, thank you again for taking some time out of your day. And are you one of those hardcore people, like if I went golfing with you and I, kind of hit a bad shot, would you be like, let's go, man, what are you doing? Keep it on? Or would you have patience for kind of an amateur like Ches and I?
No, we're most golfers, we were all there at one time, so we're pretty patient with new golfers. And I am, and I sort of take it when I golf, if I'm golfing with good players, well, then it gets a little more serious and there's money on the line. But if I'm just going out with buddies to have a good time and drink some beers, then hey, anything goes.
You know what? Seattle, Washington is sounding more and more like a possibility because that actually sounds, Ben, you just sound like a guy that's not going to kill me if I come out in May, or you're a guy that I'm not going to wake up in the middle of the night and you're just looking at me, staring at me. It's just, you seem pretty normal. So that's, Seattle may very well be in the future. But anyways, we will definitely have you back. So thank you again, Ben, for hanging out.
You're very welcome.
Before you all go as listeners, a final few requests on my part. If you are listening on the website itself, claytrader.com, on the show notes, make sure to click that share button, leave us a comment down below. We do read those comments and we will reply to them. If you're listening on the website, or I just said that, if you're listening on the YouTube channel, there you go, then make sure to check out the remainder of the channel. There's a lot of other things just besides these podcasts. There's live trade videos. There's tip videos, quick tip videos. There is a vlog where you can just kind of see what's going on in general. And there's a lot of good stuff, so hopefully you decide to first click the like button, and then second, subscribe to the YouTube channel. And then finally, if you're listening on iTunes or any of the other podcast players, subscribe, and especially on iTunes, if you could leave us a solid star rating, Ches and I would certainly appreciate that. So thank you again to all of you as listeners. Thank you to Ches, our esteemed co-host. And of course, thank you, Ben, for hanging out. We will see you all back next week.
This has been the Stock Trading Reality Podcast. Thanks for taking the time to hang out. To learn more about Clay and the Clay Trader community, including the trading team, premium training, and more, visit claytrader.com.